want to run, now is your 2 seconds. 2, 1, sorry, you're stuck with me for the next 35 minutes. Hi, everyone. Before I start with my presentation, I need to know a little bit about you. So I assume you are JavaScript developers mostly here, right? Not just a hat rack, you know. And how many years of experience would you say you have? Like 0 to 1 year? Okay, 1 to 5 years. Good, 5+ years. Okay, cool thing. So, in today's era, we live in this time of social media, right? When access to knowledge is very easily accessible right now, right? So I myself am very, very guilty of over-scrolling Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat. I had a period of having Snapchat, and it's still a big thing in Scandinavia. And I'm pretty sure that if I were to have a TikTok, I would overuse it definitely. And in most cases, it's okay. Even psychologists say that, you know, damn scrolling serves some important role in letting your brain blah, 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 as long as you don't overuse it. Of course. But I had a period of time, it was like early last year, when I think I might have broken an algorithm, because every other reel or short that I saw was about JavaScript being weird. So here we are today, inspired by social media. Let's see if the JavaScript really is that weird. Hi everyone, my name is Małgorzata. I'm Polish. I know it's a difficult name to pronounce, but short, you can call me Gosia. That's fine. I'm a fullstack.net/React developer at Sector Alarm. Do you know, have heard of Sector Alarm? Whoa, 2 people. Yes, we provide alarm systems for your places of work, for your homes, cafes too. Yeah, never mind. I am a co-author of a DevOps journey blog named DevOpsify Me. I post in the periods of time, so it's like I'm sometimes post very often, sometimes less, but it's more or less like I'm trying to do that. I'm also a friend of the international tech meetups group in Oslo, so if you are ever in Oslo, I will leave you the link to their website. Maybe we will host something at that time, so you are very welcome to join us. Okay. I don't like this part, but so let's go through it quickly. Do you know those guys? Perfect. So we are going to play a MythBusters. Wrong side? Yeah, we're doing JavaScript special today. I had to make pre-assumptions for this particular talk. The selection of examples is very opinionated. Because I got to choose what I'm going to tell you about. And I try to keep it on the introductory/basic level for this presentation. However, my experience shows that I have some examples that tend to surprise even the most experienced JavaScript developers, so don't run, please. Besides, it's too late already, we agreed on that. So we cannot say that something is weird or not without understanding what we are facing. So I did my homework, and I would like to present you with some numbers. So it turns out that the JavaScript of a sort is used by almost 99% of the websites on the internet right now. So yeah, it looks kind of steady, and it kept steady since last year. And what is interesting is that when you look on the larger scale, it took 10 years, like since 2014 was 10 years ago, cool. it only grew in popularity. So what we are facing right now and what we are going to stand against is very extremely popular language, right? What's even more interesting for me as a .NET developer is that it's gaining its popularity as a backend language as well. So from November last year, you can see that JavaScript was at 3.8%, whereas right now it's at 4.3% as a server-side language. Okay, so that would be it. Let's start my favorite part of every presentation, demo. So I prepared for you very, very fancy web application. On the top side, you can see what, let me just refresh to make sure that, yeah, we will be talking about some examples. And here you will see the code, then the result, what the code produces. And at the end, we will do show of hands. So get your hands nice and ready, because we together will decide whether or not every single of the examples that I have prepared for you today is weird, so confirmed weirdness, plausible, or it's a myth being completely busted. So this very first example, I like we learn in doing, right? Same as with coding. I can zoom it in maybe a little bit. It takes a few tries, always. Please don't do this to me right now. It's okay. Okay, we will do it like this. Is it good enough? Good enough. Good enough is good. Okay. Tomato, tomato, of course. So what we will see first, we will try to add 1 to 2, subtract 1 from 2, and then add 2 truths to each other. Let's see the result. I think this is visible, okay. Yes, so 1 plus 2 is 12. 2 minus 1 is 1, and true plus true give us 2. So what's happening here? I will be playing right now a devil's advocate and try to give you a little bit of explanation of why this is happening. So as a lot of you have a lot of experience with JavaScript right now, you know about type coercion, right? JavaScript is a loosely typed language, so it performs coercion, so it's correcting your type whenever it thinks that it's weird. Plus, on top of that, the plus sign is overloaded. So, of course, for arithmetical operations, it will act as a plus. But when it gets to strings, it will concatenate those two strings. And this is exactly what's happening here, right? Minus, on the other hand, it's only arithmetical operator, so it coerces, like JavaScript coerces as a string to a number, subtracting 1, we get 1. This one, well, in JavaScript, in this case, it's trying to map the true to a number, right? And we have true is mapped to 1 and false to 0, as we have in the logical and the binary systems. Yes, so right now we will do the voting. How many of you think that this is weird behavior of JavaScript? Okay, very few people. Like plausible, maybe. Okay, and who thinks that this is totally normal, totally fine? You're used to it, that's true. So let's bust this one. But now you understand the concept that I would like to introduce with you right now. with more things that we can dig into right now. Okay, I will zoom that in. This is hardly visible. Let me give it one more try. Okay, I give up. Okay, I give up with that. You can see what's going on there. So we will try to check the type of not a number. Then, just for fun, we will see if not a number is a number, and if one not a number is equal to another not a number. So, oh, now it's working. Okay, so not a number is a number. So naturally the type number is a number will be true. But then not a number is not equal to another not a number. And as long as this we can actually we can hide a little bit here behind specification, behind standardization. There is a standard like IEEE 754, according to my notes, that treats about representation of a floating point number. And remember, we will be coming back to that one. And it tells us about, it defines not a number as a special value that represents an unrepresentable, makes sense, result in floating points calculation. And having in JavaScript not a number as a number actually simplifies the system a little bit, because it allows us to continue the arithmetical operations, for example, without throwing an error. So those two are basically the same thing. And why one not a number is not equal to another one. Now I will make a dramatic pause to get a sip of water. Again, this standardization comes in handy, because that was standardization says that one not a number will never be equal to another not a number. But when you think about it, it's actually pretty logical, because you can never know what causes the not a number, right? It can be dividing by 0 on the one side, but on the other side, you can try taking a square root of a negative number. So the context why we get not a number is different. Okay, let's do voting again. Who of you think that this is weird, that not a number is a number? Okay, I will not try, sorry. I will not try another one. We confirmed this one. Okay, another, oh, this is a very, very popular example. Every other reel else I saw was about equality. So first we will try and see if false equals to 0, and then again if false equals to 0. Then we will check if empty string equals 0 or empty string equals 0. Let's see what it gives us. Yes, so it turns out that 0 is equal to false, but it's not equal to false. The same goes with empty string. It equals 0, but it doesn't equal 0. And it all comes down to the types in JavaScript. Yeah, I personally love those. It's super fun to get lost in the type sometimes. So the double equality is a loose equality, right? Meaning that we don't compare the type. So we let JavaScript to perform type coercion for us. Thus, as I said before, false translates to 0. But the triple equality is a very strict equality that you have to match not only value, but also a type. Okay, that's about it, what I've got to say about this one. Do you think that this is weird? No. Okay, let's bust this one. I think that we all can agree that this is bustable. Is that a word? It is right now. Okay. Oh, my favorite one. So let's look what we have right here. I might say that it's my favorite one on every other of those examples because I chose all my favorite ones. Yeah, anyways, so we have an object with one property, Jane. Then we assign object 1 to object 2. And then we modify the value of the name property on the object 2. So what we will try to do is just print the property name of the original object 1. What do you think we will get? Yeah, majority was right. We got dough. Let me just open it. Oh, no, you will not see. So we are getting dough. And why is that? Because what we've done here, I don't know what's going on, is shallow cloning, which actually means that object 1 and object 2 points to exact same place in your memory. So when you modify object 2, you actually are modifying the same value, the same memory cell, whatever that we have in object 1, right? So we are referencing the same object. In order to avoid that, we actually should do some deep cloning right here. So, do you think that this is weird? No. Let's bust that one. I like it. We are busting a lot. But we are in around half of the examples. So now we can look into null versus undefined. So we can now check the type of null and type of undefined. We will check again if null is equal to undefined, and if null is, now we know the difference, right? If it's loosely equal or if it's strictly equal to undefined. And then we will try to add 5 to both of those cases. And I'm sorry, I need to make another dramatic pause. Okay, let's see. Okay. So type of null is an object. Type of undefined is undefined. Null is equal to undefined, but it's not equal to undefined. When we add 5 to null, we get 5. But when we try to add something to undefined, we get not a number. Let's take it from the top. This beautiful thing here. This is a little bit going out of my comfort zone because I don't like excuses, and I have to excuse JavaScript here a little bit because it turns out that this is simply a bug done in the very early days of JavaScript that persisted until these days, until today, because of the backwards compatibility. And that's why we have it as it is today. So they are equal to each other, loosely equal, because we are not checking the types here, right? They both represent something empty, like lack of something, right? But if we check the type, of course, we proved it over here, that the types are different. Thus, strict equals fails. Now the arithmetic, remember a few examples ago I told you that, no, I did not tell you that. Sorry, I forgot. My memory is getting really bad. So in arithmetical operations, null is being translated to 0. That's why we can actually add something to it and continue without any problems, whereas undefined is undefined, right? It represents that, for example, something was wrongly initialized. So we cannot continue arithmetical operations here. Thus, we get not a number. So, do we think that this is weird? Okay, so. Okay, do we think that this is normal? Just to check. Okay, very few people, but we confirmed this weirdness. It was. Oh, I see. So what do we have in our next example? ASCII stands for automatic semicolon insertion. We have a function that is returning an object with one property of the name, and the name is Gosia. And I will try to get the type of the return of the get name object. Let's see what the type of is here. Oh, it's undefined. Let me remind you that we are returning an object here, right? So why is it undefined? Because of automatic semicolon insertion. It was designed to make our life easier, I guess, as developers, right? So wherever we forget to put it, oopsie, it puts it there for us. And I would say most of the cases it works okay, right? But we get flowers, beautiful cases like this one. And this is actually one of the most popular cases. So automatic semicolon insertion would put the semicolon right over here after return. That's why we get undefined. This is simply how it was defined, right? It's expecting the return object body to start in the same line as the return keyword. Simplest solution, move the opening bracelet up to the same level. It will be great. And working as a charm again. So, do we think that this is weird? Okay, I'm not asking, sorry. I'm not asking further. Oh, now we are entering the icons era. Yes. So, what do we have in our next example? We have two functions, 1 and 2. Each of those functions take 3 parameters and does exactly nothing with them. And, well, we can check the length of the function in JavaScript, so why not doing that, right? Let's check the length of both of those functions. So, function 1 is a length of 3, whereas function 2 is a length of 1. Let me explain you. Let me tell you why. So, what it does, the length of the function, is counting the number of parameters. Thus, function 1 has a length of 3. But that doesn't really answer what the function 2 has a length of 1, whereas it also has 3 parameters. So, answer is very simple. It counts all the parameters before first defined parameter, right? And we have only 1 here. If you do some more complex thing, like the constructing pattern, for example, so that will be treated as 1 parameter. Or if you do rest parameters, that will be excluded completely. So I think I might expect the answer. So do you think that this is normal? So? No, really? So can we confirm this one? Okay, not that I wasn't expecting it. That's the one that is extremely close to my heart, because only when I started, this was a question on one of my interviews. So if you ever worked with banking systems, with currencies, with calculating money. You probably know this one, or even if you've studied computer science, you know this one, right? So we will add 0.1 to 0.2, and we will check if it equals 0.3. No-brainer, right? No-brainer. No-brainer. That's a brainer. Okay, sorry. So I have only 10 minutes now, so I have to speed up a little bit even more. So computers operate in the binary systems, right? Meaning that what we see here is not what the computer sees, right? It has to translate this into base 2. Sorry, yeah. Brain fart, that happens sometimes as well. So 0.1 gets translated to 0.0001100110011 and so on, while 0.2 gets translated to 0.0011001100011. So we have to make some approximation. And turns out when you approximate this, it will be really 0.3.00000, I don't know how many zeros, 0.3. Yes. And this actually kind of triggers me when people tell that, oh, JavaScript is weird because of it, whereas it's not a JavaScript issue, right? It's a computer issue. So having also that in mind, do we think that this is JavaScript weirdness? No, thank you. Now, to everyone here who has dyslexia, what we will do, we will add some lower letters, right? Concatenate them and then make to lowercase. No brainer, everything is lowercase already, right? So we get BA, AA. And we get banana. And why is that? I know. It's because JavaScript is trying this plus A. Now, cheers to all dyslexic people here. I haven't caught that one at first glance. I have to rewatch the short several times to actually see what was going on. It's trying to parse A as a letter to a number, because this is what the plus sign is doing, right? When before a string, for example. So this is returning not a number, but not a number is written capital A, small n, A, capital N, right? So to lowercase it, we get ba, not a number a, banana. Yeah. So do we think that this is weird? Okay, let's confirm that one. And last but not least is shadowing. So we have a function that its name is shadow. It takes undefined as a parameter and it returns undefined. And now we will try to call this function with 42. What do you think we will get? We will get 42. Because undefined is not a keyword. It's just a property on a global object that represents that, for example, value that is not properly initialized. Yes, okay, sorry, I have to jump. Do we think that this would be weird? Okay, is this normal? Okay, I will make it plausible, okay? Because I cannot distinguish whether it is or not. Okay, so the moment of truth. Oh, okay. Good that I clicked that plausible one. I wasn't expecting that. But yes, with a very, very tight score, I would say. But we confirmed that even in a room full of JavaScript developers, we think that JavaScript is mostly weird. I have a few closing summary. So why is that, right? Because we have to answer also that question, like what could be the reason? So it's a very, very short time to production. Original JavaScript was written in 10 days, right? It was supposed to be working only with one type of browser. It was back in the days when the browser war was going on. And then every other browser was kind of creating their own version of a JavaScript. Thus, we get a lot of bugs and errors and so on and so forth that are coming after this merge of those versions. So some inconsistencies might be there. And we have to stick to the backwards compatibility. But why the complaining? Subjective reasons. We saw here that something that was weird for some of you was not necessarily weird for the other group, right? The second one, I know I don't want to sound arrogant right now, but it's either a rage bait, what you were doing to my social media, or people really don't understand the reasons, because when you see the equality, for example, and you don't know about the simplest basic thing of the JavaScript, that you have loose and strict equality, it might seem weird at first. Believed by a lot means must be true, obvious. And when it's online, it means that it's believed by everyone, so it is true. That's everything that I have for you. I include some self-promotion link tree. You can find there a link to my LinkedIn. You're welcome to add me to your connection, connect, ask questions, reach out. There is also a link to our blog, and the links to all of the materials, examples, everything you can find here. And your opinion really matters to us, so please scan this link and give me your feedback. I will be happy to hear what you thought about my presentation. Thank you.